Hello and welcome to Box, the football talk show brought to you by Sportology TV with myself, Ali Drew. On last week's episode, I was joined by Jonathan Foster from All for United, who was talking all things the women's game and the progression of the women's game. So if you haven't already, make sure you check that out. But on this week's episode, the first guest who is joining me is from Leicester Fan TV. He also runs the only Leicester City bar in Mallorca. Interesting fact. Delighted to be joined by Jamie Preston. Jamie, welcome to the show. How are you?
Afternoon. How are you? Are you all good? I'm fine. A little bit cold because it's not the best of weather at the minute. Normally April's fantastic, but this month it's a little bit miserable to say the least.
Are you expecting to have a nice summer? Do you think it'll get better?
Well, the weather will be fine. There's no problem with the weather. The problem will be is when old Boris lets all the tourists start flying out. We need that to happen ASAP. And there's a big meeting today, isn't there? So hopefully something will come up from that. It's just nightmare. Last year we only had 6 weeks of it. We've been here in Alcudia, which is the north of Mallorca, 16 years. But last year, because of COVID, we only had 6 weeks. So all we could open just wasn't worth it. There was no tourist about. It's a bit of a nightmare, to be honest. But on the other hand, it means I've had more time to do work with Leicester Fan TV, which is a good thing. But the wife wouldn't say that because I'm spending too much time doing it.
Yeah, because I mean, the sort of the last year's been crazy for everyone, but especially for you people working in sort of tourism and abroad. You know, when you rely on completely the tourism season, it must have been a really, really tough year.
It has been. With just at the minute, we don't know whether we're coming or going. We don't know whether people are being let in. The vaccines are going brilliantly in the UK, not so good here in Mallorca. But the problem is we get lumped with the mainland Spain because we're an island, Mallorca. I know it's part of Spain and the Canaries is exactly the same. You don't fly from the UK to the mainland to here. You fly direct to here. And with an island, we can contain it. And it's not been that bad here. But it's just because of this traffic light system that's meant to be coming in, this red, the amber and the green, we don't know where we're going to be. We haven't got a clue. And we've just got to grin and bear it and hope for the best this year again. It's tough. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of bars that will be finishing this year. It's going to be tough. Another tough year if we don't get 3 or 4 months of trade. Predominantly our trade is English. We get Scandinavians, we get the Spanish, we get Italians, but I would say 90% of our trade is the Brits coming over, which is absolutely fantastic because they love a pint and a breakfast in the sun.
Well, fingers crossed you can get some business this summer, and hopefully, yeah, we'll find out soon whether Spain is allowed to be travelled to. But
it'd be nice. It'd be nice if they are.
Fingers crossed. Just talk to me about how you got into the whole sort of Leicester Fan TV, you know, YouTube scene in the first place. How have you sort of got into this? You know, it's very different from owning a bar, I guess, connected to Leicester still, but very different.
Yeah. Well, the saying I always say, you can take the boy out of Leicester, but you can't take Leicester out of the boy. And I've been a huge fan of Leicester since 1977. I went down with Dad and my granddad and my uncle. If there was a spare ticket, one of them couldn't go, I used to go. So I'm not one of these plastic fans that people come into the bar and says, oh, I bet you only named the bar after the title win, didn't you? I says, no, we've been here. So I've had to explain the whole story over and over again. But yeah, I'm a huge Leicester fan. And when we got into the Champions League after the title win, I just did some video. I noticed this website, it used to be called 100% LCFC. And I noticed it, and I've been on it a couple of years, and I'd send them the odd comment now and again. And when I was in Seville, I sent them a few videos, and they used a few videos. And Phil, the editor, got in touch with me and says, do you fancy doing a regular show for us? And I was a bit nervous at the time, because I like talking to people. I'm working behind a bar, you have to have a bit of a gift of the gab occasionally. And I loved it. And he said, do you fancy doing it regular? Yeah. So I did my Sunday morning show. It's quite popular. I get regular viewers all the time watching. And the last 4 years, we're just building and building. And it's just been absolutely great fun. Leicester Fan TV has actually been going about, I don't know, 10 or 11 years now. And I've been involved the last 4 years. And it's been brilliant. Because my wife doesn't want to hear me go on and moaning about football all the time. So it gives me a chance to talk to someone, even though I don't normally talk. Well, we do nowadays with everything you can do on technology-wise. But when it first started, you couldn't talk to it. It was just like me talking to a blank screen, a bit like Jeff Stelling does on a Saturday afternoon. He's looking at a blank screen, talking to you about football. And I loved it. It was great. And the missus loves it because it means she don't get the earache about football.
Yeah, and to be fair, although there's been a lot of negatives about the last year and the lockdowns, the positive has been that we are so much better at the technology side of it. Like I didn't even know what Zoom was before March last year. So it's helped in the industry that we're in as well.
Yeah, it's been in the background, hasn't it? It's just been back there, but now all of a sudden it's brought to the forefront. Zoom, there's Teams as well on Windows, FaceTiming, the Facebook Live, StreamYard, Be Live. There's loads now. I mean, I'm not good on the graphic side. The graphic side is all Phil and his son Sam. They do all the graphic sides. They just send it to me, and I just press a button, and away we go. And all the graphics and do everything of that. But other than that, it's brilliant. I mean, living out here, I'm not sure how far Mallorca is from the UK. I should know that off the top of my head, really. But to be able to speak to you in the UK and me here at a push of a button is absolutely fantastic nowadays. It's helped as well. I spoke to a lot of my family in Australia in the lockdown, which 5-6 years ago, you wouldn't have been able to do that. It'd been old snail mail, which wasn't very good.
Yeah, it is. It's thank God we've got all this technology during the last year. Thank God.
Makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, it really does. But we do need to talk about your team. So we do need to talk about Leicester City. It's not the best time for you to come on. Obviously, they played at the weekend and they lost to West Ham. Just talk to me about that game specifically.
I think I'll go now. Hold on a minute. I'm off. No. Well, I think we better start at the very, very beginning about the COVID-5 that broke the regulations. And I think there was a bit of a rumour on my show on my show yesterday on Sunday morning. Somebody put some comments up about it, and oh no, it's fake news. It's fake news. But it took you back. It starts making you think, because you see on Twitter and Facebook and Insta all these rumours going about. You never know whether it's true or not nowadays. I mean, like 20 years ago, you never used to hear anything, did you? It used to be just that's it. If they didn't play, they didn't play. And it made it worse by Brendan Rodgers saying that they were fit to play, but through internal measures, they couldn't play. So it was a bit of a nightmare, really. But sorry about this. Hold on 2 seconds. I've locked the Wi-Fi out. Getting it all sorted. Right. Where were we? Oh, yes, the COVID-5 and Brendan Rodgers saying about they were fit to play, but he drops them through an internal reason. But it just needs the fans to feel so let down at the minute. And the game yesterday, it showed the first hour. They let the players down as well. They let the teammates down. They let the club down. They let all the fans down. James Maddison had already had this problem in the England setup last year, I think the year before last, and he was in a casino the night before, and they decided that's it, you can't go in the England team because you broke the rules. He's been saying they need big seasons this year, and then we need to stick together. And him, Perez, Choudhury, Barnes, and Wes Morgan, the biggest. If it's true about Wes Morgan, the man mountain Wes, Mr. Leicester City, sort of lifting that trophy after all the years of playing and winning nothing. They've let us all down. The fans have been let down big time. I'm not too sure about the saying they should sell them and this summer and that. That's like chopping your nose off to spite your face, but it's a bit of a nightmare. It really is a nightmare. Because you could see yesterday, the game, it took us an hour before we even got going. We were 3-0 down before we even got going. And even though we scored 2 goals, I actually sat there watching it, and I was interested, but not like overly interested. And it was hard work watching it yesterday, because at the back of your mind, you've got a feeling in your head that you'd been let down. And it's just we've blown it again. I mean, last week we played Man City. No one thinks we're going to beat Man City or anything like that. So, and then you think West Ham away, should have got 3 points from there. We've only lost 1 game all season away from home. And it's just gone pear-shaped. And it's exactly the same time as we had problems last year with Project Restart. We faltered then. We had a big lead then. And now the gap it was about 4 points. I think now there's 4 clubs within 3 points of each other. And it's, touch wood, I'm hoping it's not going to happen again next year.
Yeah, because
this season, the same as last year.
It was an important game, because obviously West Ham are now in 4th, so it was an important game to win and to at least get a point from, get a draw, anything to stop the sort of gap closing. Leicester are in 3rd, so it's been a good season. But do you think that they can sort of get back on track and keep pushing, not let the teams below them catch up?
I think this is going to either galvanise the team with what's gone on, or it's going to fall apart. I'm sort of in the middle of it. It can go either way. We've got the FA Cup semi-final next week. We haven't been in the FA Cup semi-final for 39 years. these are the biggest two games that we've had this season. West Ham, I know it doesn't sound, West Ham's not a big game, but when it's a top four clash, Champions League place at stake, then you've got the semi-final the week after, and they decide to go out partying because they lost to Man City. It's not the best thing to do. There's people out there that have had the whole year without work. They've been paid all this money, and they're going to break today. Everything's changed today, hasn't it? All the rules have changed in the UK.
I know, you have
today.
to wait like a couple of days.
Yeah, you can go to the bar. I've seen on TV this morning that some people are in the bar at 8 o'clock this morning with a pint already. That's a bit extreme, that is. She had a coffee as well, but she had a pint as well. It's a little bit too extreme, that is, even for my liking. But I don't know. Like I said, it's either going to galvanise us or we're going to fall apart. And some of the fans are thinking they shouldn't play next week. I'm not sure about that. I'm not on that side. I think they should play and they've got to give a good performance. The only thing I'm worried about is Maddison scored a last-minute winner and he starts doing a golf celebration because according to form, he was playing golf yesterday when Leicester were playing.
Right.
Which we're not sure about that. That's rumours, but he hasn't denied. See, they haven't come out and denied anything. None of the COVID 5, haven't come out and said anything. Whether the club are trying to keep it quiet, I don't know. I just hope it doesn't fall apart like last year. That'd be a travesty. 2 years, and if it does, I could see Brendan Rodgers going at the end of the season. I could really see him going at the end of the season if it falls apart again.
Do you
because
think
of what's gone on?
Do you think that he is the right manager at Leicester? Do you like him as a manager?
Personally, I've had my ups and downs with him. Right, I've had my ups and downs. The style of football, it was very, I wouldn't say it's like Barcelona tiki-taki, but it's very possession-based, side to side, backside, Schmeichel forward, and they're trying to pick the gaps. But the last few weeks, before the Man City game, before yesterday, I seem to have found it a bit more interesting how it's working. Seem to have watched it more, and I've got to know what he's trying to do. And they're trying to find gaps. But the problem is what I find, we can be 1-0 down or drawing 1-1 in the 90th minute, and we're still playing it side to side. There's no, let's just lump it up the top. Let's just throw the defenders forward. Let's just throw in a Hail Mary, a bit of a bomb, and see what happens. Get a knockdown. That's the only problem. I like his football. I like Puel's football, the manager before, but he got a bit lambasted for it and he wasn't liked for it. And Rodgers has come in, played a bit of Brendan ball, and it wasn't okay. It didn't seem to work to start off with, but then now it's growing on me. But I'm still having ups and downs. But I do think he's done the right thing at the weekend. I know it was a big game, just to put his foot down and prove a point. It says, right, you're not playing, and that's probably thinking there, Ed. Oh, right then, we've got to buckle down and get on with it. But hopefully it's that way. He's dropped him, end of matter, and it goes on, and it carries on again from fresh.
Yeah, because obviously the next game is that FA Cup semi-final against Southampton. It's looking from outside, it should be a good semi-final game for Leicester. How important is it, do you think, that they get through the semi-final in the FA Cup? As you say, it's been a long time.
Yeah, the last time it was 1982 when we lost to Spurs. We actually played Southampton in one of the early rounds back in 1982. I think round 3 or 4. I can't remember the exact round 3 or 4. It's a huge game. I'm very old school. The editor's very old school. Phil, FA Cup is for us even before the Premier League. The FA Cup is more important for us than a top. I know everyone says, well, it's money involved in the top 4, but it's the magic of the cup. Mm-hmm. When I was a kid, the third round draw. The third round on the first weekend in January, it was absolutely fantastic. It was brilliant time to go and watch the football. You could see upsets, you can see everything. It's not quite the same in that. Some of the managers have devalued it a bit, but we knew Brendan was taking it seriously because against Stoke in the third round this year, he played a full strength side and we won 4-0. And we thought, hey, he's taking this seriously. And he has. He's played a reasonably strength side every round. And for me, the FA Cup is huge. Bigger than the Champions League for me. I don't care about money. The prestige of winning the FA Cup, because I don't know whether you know, but Leicester have never won the FA Cup in all their history. 4 times bridesmaids, never the bride, unfortunately.
Maybe this year.
Hopefully this year.
What do you make of just this season as a whole? It's been a relatively good one for Leicester. They've had an unbelievable amount of injuries. I think they're the team that's has had the most injuries. But the season as a whole, it's been a bit crazy, with injuries, crazy amount of goals, no fans. Like, it's just been a bit all over the place.
Yeah, I've been saying this for even Project Restart last year. I've been saying having no fans in there has caused a big problems, because there's more. I think, I'm not sure the exact figures, but there's more away wins than there's ever been before, because there's no home advantage. There's no 30,000 odd, 40,000 odd people getting on the fans' back, cheering them up, or getting on the away teams' fans and having a go at them. So yeah, I think having the fans in there is the big problem. Once we start getting fans back in there, I think it'd be fantastic. And just the atmosphere, the crowds must be. I mean, I remember going to some reserve team games back in the day, and you've got one man and his dog watching Leicester, and it was awful. There was no atmosphere. But then it must be the same for them now as well. Pre-season friendlies are the same. There's although the pre-season friendlies starting to grow a bit more now that you do get more fans going. But as for the goals and that, it's I don't know the injuries, whether the injuries have come because of the lack of recovery time, and there's like games every Wednesday, Saturday in Europe and stuff like that. That is just like the injuries. I don't think we'd have played so many games so quickly. I think in February we played in 28 days. We played 9 games, and the injuries just got worse and worse. But it helps though. Well, it helps. Last year, Ricardo Pereira got injured. James Justin came in, and he's been absolutely outstanding. He's taking his chance. Pereira got injured. James Justin's come in. He was on the verge of an England call. I don't think Pereira could have got back in the side. And then he got injured, and then Pereira's come back in. Unfortunately for James Justin, I think he's out till November. Harvey Barnes got injured. He was on cracking form. Nacho's come in. Since Harvey Barnes has got injured, he scored 11 in 11 games. He's a confidence player. And it's just, I don't know, once the fans come in, I think it will settle down back to normal. I hope it does. Because our home form has been terrible this year. I think we've lost 7 at home. It's been a bit of a nightmare, to be honest. But yeah, once the fans come in, I think the fans are the important thing. Get the fans back in, and then you can start hearing that roar. It's unbelievable. The noise is amazing at any ground you go to, but just to hear that roar when the first come out, the atmosphere is building, and then the fans come out, and there's a huge. It's just sending. I'm going goosebumps already just thinking about it. I mean, for me, I go 2 or 3 times a season. I fly back in, and it's just the atmosphere there. Going to see everyone, the normal thing, as everyone does, drinks before the game. Watch the game, and just the atmosphere of 30,000 odd Leicester fans cheering them on. I mean, it's more at Man U and stuff like that, but it's just that feeling that you don't get it anymore. I think that will make a huge difference to fans. It really will.
That first time when the stadium is like almost full again, because I think there'll still be probably gaps between people, but players are going to be getting butterflies. They're going to think, oh God, I got some pressure now.
It's going to be like the debut, isn't it? It's going to be like the debut again.
It's going to be very odd.
Yeah. It really will be. I mean, there've been the odd game they've had fans in, but not very many. I think the England-Albania game, there was 1,000 fans in there. But no, you've got to get 10, 12, 15,000 fans in there before you start getting a bit of an atmosphere. And a few away fans as well. I think it'd be predominantly home fans to start off with. But you need them away fans in just to give that bit of banter, so you've got someone to shout and have a go at. It's not quite the same, is it, really, to be honest, when there's only home fans there.
Yeah, I know. It's just got to be the full thing. We just want the full experience back, don't we? But you did mention there. You mentioned some of the players. Who do you think has actually stood out the most for you this season from the Leicester team?
Well, like I said, I think James Justin. He's took his place because of injury, and he was out. He came from Luton. They called him the Luton Cafu for some reason. I don't know why Luton called him that. But he does like bombing down that wing. He's the same kind of as Ricardo Pereira. He likes bombing down that right wing. He can play centre back as well as a back 3. We haven't seen him as in a back 4 yet, but we've seen him in a back 3 on the right hand side. He does a cracking job there. But he took his chance. Unfortunately, he's got injured, so hopefully he comes back fully up to strength. Harvey Barnes needed to find the back of the net. He'd do all the work, fantastic crosses, assists. But he never had his shooting boots on. The last couple of years, he couldn't hit a bloody barn door. Now, all of a sudden, before he got injured, he got 14 goals. 14 goals before he got injured. 13 goals before he got injured, sorry. So, yeah, but then he got injured. He should be back next week, the week after, so we might get in the last few games. So, for me, it's JJ and Harvey Barnes have really stood out this year. Like I said earlier, in Iheanacho, he's come on. He got in because Barnes was injured. And he's taken the opportunity, 11 goals in 11 games. For a striker, again, couldn't hit a barn door. And now all of a sudden his confidence is back and he's flying. He's outscoring Vardy. That's the biggest disappointment. Jamie Vardy, 1 goal in 17 games he scored. It's a huge disappointment.
What do you think that is? What do you think the reason for his sort of dip in form, I guess, is?
Confidence. He had He had a hernia injury as well. He was playing with a hernia injury, so he wasn't at his best. And then he came back a bit too early, and he's not quite at his best. But he's helping Nacho. Now, because of the injuries, Brendan Rodgers has had to play two up top, and he's actually helping him out. Even though Vardy's not scoring, he's making space. Nacho's able to run into the space and score the goals where he wasn't getting no space when he's playing up top. He had to do all the donkey work. Now he's playing with two up top. Vardy's doing all the hard work and leaving Nacho in space. So even though Vardy's not scoring, he's still working. But he just needs. There was what game was it against Man City? He had two chances against Man City. He would have buried them if he'd been on form. He'd have absolutely buried them and would have probably beat Man City. I know it's all ifs and buts, but if he'd been a regular goal scoring, then yeah, it's just. I think it's confidence and the injury that's setting back. He does go in spells of not scoring, but he's never had a spell of like only one goal in 17, which is, I think now, well, yesterday, it's only one in 18 now, actually. That one in 17 was before. But yeah, he scored one against Liverpool. Alisson made a mistake and we thought, right, confidence back, gets going. It hasn't worked. Just for some reason, it just hasn't clicked for him this year, goal scoring wise. But he's still an integral part of the team, though, Jamie. He's 34. I'd stop playing football by the time I don't know, I didn't count playing that age. And that was only local football. But he's 34. I wouldn't want him in any other team playing against us, to be honest.
Do you think he's got a good couple of seasons left? Because as you say, he's 34, but you wouldn't know. He's.
No,
he doesn't show.
You wouldn't. He keeps himself fit. Hardly gets injured. The hernia operation. I don't know how a normal you or me would cope with a hernia operation. How long it would take. But he was back within 2 or 3 weeks, which was unbelievable. So they're all quite fit professional footballers. But yeah. Not sure he'd be able to play top flight. Well, you don't know. It depends what we do with him, how we play him in that. But if he keeps playing with Kelsey up front, he might get 2 or 3 more years out of him. You don't see many 37-year-old strikers in the Premier League nowadays, do you?
You don't. I think the main one for me who's defying the age limit is Ronaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo. What is he, like 36 now? And you wouldn't
something like that.
You just wouldn't know. You wouldn't know he was
just scoring goals. Yeah, he's just scoring goals left, right. If he walked past you now, you would think, oh, I'm not sure how old he is because he doesn't look that old, does he? So he looks exactly the same as when he played at Man U, just with a little bit less hair.
Yes, I do want to talk to you about VAR and the refereeing that's been going on this season. There's been a lot of talk about it. It's pretty much every game that goes on, there's a VAR decision that people don't agree with. Yesterday, there was one with the Man United game. I think that the goal was disallowed. And although I think that was more the refereeing decision. But what do you make of it all?
Don't like it one bit. Absolutely hate it with a vengeance. It's ruining the game. It's ruining the game. You get the checks. Yesterday, there was a goal disallowed, correctly disallowed. It would have made West Ham go 4-0 up. Correctly disallowed, but it was only just offside. It was fractionally offside. I was quite happy for VAR for once that it got his disallowed. When it was 4-0, I nearly turned it off. I thought, oh no, I'll just wait. It's going VAR. Oh no, he's offside. I'll carry on watching. I don't like it. I think it's ruining the game. It's more pressure on the referee and the assistant referees now to make the decision. And this decision for the linesman not to put the flag up until either the ball's gone in the back of the net or it's gone out for throwing. I think it's caused a lot of injuries. A lot of people have got injured because they don't know that the referee in the past, it was straight up and that was it. They'll stop. Now, the linesmen are like second judging themselves. I don't rate it. I've never rated it and I've never wanted it in. If the referee makes a mistake, that's fair enough. Everyone makes mistakes. It's fair enough. But and they're spending 4 or 5 minutes looking at it in Stockley Park Farm or wherever it's called. They're spending 4 or 5, and then they can't. The handball rule as well. What's handball nowadays in the penalty box? Is that handball? Is that handball? You just what's an awkward position? What do they call it now, or whatever it is? It's
an unnatural position. Yeah.
Unnatural position. That's it. Yeah. How do you take what's an unnatural? Last year, Rudiger against Leicester, he had his hand around his back, stretched out his back. No, that's not an unnatural position. That's his running position. I really don't understand. And they keep changing it, don't they? They keep changing everything each year. So for me, it's a big whack. I don't like it at all.
Got to be out. Talk to me about. So we're getting close to the end of the season. Talk to me about who you think is going to be in that top four. Man City have just run away with it this year. Liverpool doesn't seem like they're anywhere close. Just talk to me about who you think is going to be in that top four.
I think it, of course, like you say, Man City. It was a good result for us yesterday with Man U winning. I mean, not many Leicester fans would like Man U to win a game.
I know, that's
being against Spurs, then yeah, that helped us out with the points difference. So I think it's I wish it was Leicester top. Man City top. Man U second. And then it's a tough decision, isn't it? Because you've got Chelsea, you've got us, you've got West Ham, Spurs, Liverpool. I mean, of course, they want us to finish third. Everyone wants to be in the top four. Everyone wants to be in the top four. So really, we're only talking about one place. Yeah. Chelsea.
Okay.
That's who I think will finish fourth. Liverpool, I've got some friends that are a little bit cocky about last year still, so I'd like it to be that Liverpool don't manage it. They just go in the Thursday night league. But yeah, so for me, the two Manchester clubs, us and then Chelsea. You've got to have a London club there somewhere, haven't you? There's got to be one London club. It'd be nice if West Ham got there. Someone different, like Leicester and West Ham, both get there. But I think West Ham will just falter a bit, I think, to be honest. I think it was just a bit too much squeaky bum time for them getting up there.
I mean, they've had an incredible season to even be around that mark, haven't they?
Yeah, I had some West Ham fan, Corey, from the West Ham Way yesterday on my show yesterday. They weren't expecting this. They were relegation, mid-table. They were hoping for, fighting to stay away from it. Then all of a sudden, they've had. I mean, when they played us earlier in the season, West Ham, they beat Wolves 4-0. Then they came to us and beat 3-0, and then they started going up and down, up and down. And then David Moyes, I don't know what he's done, but he's pulled his finger out, and it's working wonders for them. They love scoring goals, but they also concede goals, West Ham. That's the only thing I think might struggle for West Ham.
I mean, Jesse Lingard has been an absolute dream since he's gone there. It's been unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, last year, Jesse Lingard didn't score a goal for Man U until the 96th minute of the last game of the season against us. He never scored one goal until that point. And I don't think he was even in the Man U setup this year.
He wasn't even getting played most of the time, was he?
Wasn't he?
I
don't know.
He wasn't getting played a lot. No.
And then he's gone to West Ham, new lease of life. And I saw the figures yesterday since that, and he's scored and scored and assisted so many goals together. I think it was something like 15, 16, or his combined total of goals and assists. That's some record to go. And the two goals he scored yesterday were great goals, were absolutely fantastic goals. And we had Lingard at Leicester on loan about 10 years ago. No, not 10 years ago. About roughly 10 years ago. No, he wasn't brilliant then, but he was only just starting then. I think he played 5 games for us and did absolutely nothing. But you have to start somewhere, don't you? But it's one of them things. He went to West Ham. It's done good. He'll probably be in the Euros this year, where he wouldn't have been at the beginning of the season. This year, I think he'll be at the Euros.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be nice if he is. I think that he's been there and thereabouts, but just not making it for so long, hasn't he? So
yes, he deserves it. The form he's having at West Ham, he deserves it. The form he's having, I don't think West Ham will have a cat and mouse chance of signing him, to be honest. He'll be back at Man U next year, I think. If Solskjaer's still there, then yeah, I think he'll be back in that Man U side quite easily, to be honest. He's outperforming a lot of Man U's players, isn't he?
It definitely is. Yeah, the consistency as well. That's what he's got over most of the Man United players at the moment. Just
definitely.
And then we always ask this question to our guests, so I'm going to ask you as well. Who do you think is the greatest player that you've ever seen play live?
Play live.
So
now, I've got a long.
Wow.
I've got a long way to stretch back there. All 50 years of me, well, not 50 years watching me Leicester, but that's a tough question. That is.
It is.
I know if you said Leicester player, I could tell you straight away. The late Frank Worthington, absolutely unbelievable player. Silky left foot, you name it, unbelievable. Frank Worthington would be my top man for a Leicester player. But all round, I don't know. It's probably got to be Cristiano Ronaldo, I would have thought. When he was, I know he wasn't at his best at Man U when he was there, but with his all-round game now and seeing him play then, I'll go for Cristiano Ronaldo. That'd be probably one of the best players I've seen play. But like I say, I think Frankie Worthington would have given Cristiano Ronaldo a run for his money.
Yeah, and he's a Leicester one, so you can have them both. We'll take them.
Spoiled for choice then. Oh, tough question that was, trying to think of players just like that.
Isn't it? I know, and we asked like the former players, like who the greatest player they played alongside, and so I think some of them find that, like, if they've played in an incredible team, they're just like, especially if they played in the England setup as well, they're like, oh God, I don't know. But yes,
yeah, I'm still thinking about it now in my head whether I've said the right thing. Now. When we finish this, I'll be thinking, is that the right one? And then I'll text you, oh, can I change my mind?
I know,
please?
yeah, you'll be adding names to the list. Jamie, thank you so much for your time. It's been great chatting to you.
Much appreciated.
Hopefully, good luck for the semi-finals of the FA Cup to Leicester. Hopefully they get a bit more form back, and we'll chat to you again soon.
I'll be here. Cheers, Ali. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Great to be joined there by Jamie, who runs the Fox's Arms in Mallorca and is on Leicester Fan TV. But guys, stay tuned because we have lots more coming up. We've got another guest this week, so stay tuned for that episode as well. And please continue doing what you can to support the channel. We really appreciate it, and we will see you next time.